Yo, welcome to Gridiron Chronicles. My name is Sway, and we have here.
The one and only, yours truly, Jay Brown, old lineman, anywhere, part-time coach, help design a little bit of plays here and there, schemes, but it's pretty much what I do.
So first things first, are you looking forward towards this season?
Absolutely. Main thing, first of all, looking forward to is getting through a whole season, staying healthy. The last 2 years have been a little rough for me in that department, but absolutely looking forward to it. I think with the new additions of certain teams, you got the Ravens and the Owls coming in, Lopes coming in, teams picking up guys. I think it's going to be a real good season this year.
So who are you looking forward to playing this year?
Quite frankly, man, I'm just looking to play in the season. It really doesn't matter. I'm just looking forward to certain matchups, man. I would love to play the Tide, honestly, only because the last 2 years I've been hurt every time in them games. I either didn't play or I was not 100% on the field. I'm just looking forward to hopefully being healthy playing them. So, but other than that, I'm just looking forward to playing everybody.
So what's your team histories like? What teams have you played for before?
Just two, the Headhunters and now with the Vengeance. As far as in season spring ball, and I had the 1 year, the first inaugural season for the Vipers when we went out to Vegas.
So you're a 3-time champ?
Absolutely, 3 of them. One with the Headhunters, undefeated, 2018. This past season, well, the year before last, first Alliance season with the Vengeance and the Silver State National Bowl in Vegas with the Vipers.
So after you're done playing football, what is your goals, after football?
I definitely want to stick around, be more on the coaching side, helping out, assisting, just help coaching guys in practice, showing some things, just what I see, helping maybe with footwork or coaching, anything. Come game days, I can be on the sideline, I can be up top, but just want to be more on the coaching side once I'm done playing.
So okay, let's explain some of these toughest battles you went through. Who was some of the toughest D tackles you ever went against? Let's say 3.
A 3 tech?
No, just like 3 people that.
3 defensive tackles?
Yeah, or DNs. It doesn't matter. The 3 defensive line.
Defensive line. Okay. I got these all in my head too. Toughest person I ever went against was Zach. Off the rip. Long time with the Crusaders back in the day, those battles, and he was with the Spartans. He was probably the best matchup I've ever had. Bo is another one. I've had good battles with him, so he's up there. I can't think of these 2 guys' names, but they both was on the Calvary Lions. When we played them, they had 2 D tackles that they rotated. It was like one big white guy, another dude looked like he was Samoan or Hispanic or something, but they were strong and they had dumb motors, and they gave me a long night. I can't think of their name, but I remember them too. And then just recent years now, I probably would still say it's Bo, and I like that boy JoJo on Tamatoa. He nice, he good.
Do you think that Tamatoa is going to come with it this year?
I don't know, man. We'll see, man. I don't know how it's going to look for a lot of teams, man. I mean, you don't know what people got because you're not there. You only hear things, and you can hear anything you want until you get out there on the field. I would assume so, but just like anybody, they lost people. I'm sure we lost people. I'd be curious to see who's going to be calling the offense for them and who the quarterback is. I think in the trenches they should be fine. I mean, we'll see both sides of the ball for sure, but you just never know, man. I mean, you can have pieces, but everything has to work from the coaching and the right play calls, the right system, and then the execution.
So that all-star list that they had, do you think that played a big part of like that loss that they took out there versus another all-star team? Do you think that's a major part of why they lost, is the list that they had?
I'd say probably a piece. I mean, Granted, for what they had in the All-Star game, I don't know who all was able to be committed to go make the travel trip. I know I would have been able to go, but I mean, I think it's a piece of it. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how they came up with certain people. Like I've been on that from the jump, but I feel like there were some guys in the league last season that was left off for sure. And I don't know if there was some charity spots given out. Not too sure. I wasn't in the rooms for those decisions, but there was definitely some guys that should have been on there that was left off. And I know you going up there, you got 24 people. Come on. You know going to somebody else's home, they going to have 80. You got to roll with more than 24.
So how do you feel like the All-Star list should be made up? Do you feel like it should be like a vote to the committee based off stats? Like, how do you feel like the list should be made?
I feel like stats should be involved. I feel like play should be involved, like number of games, the consistency, and be harder for linemen, especially offensively. I feel like you should let players give a decision too. I mean, we the ones going against each other. I don't see why not. You know what I mean? But I don't know how they get it, who's in charge of it, who helped select it, or the little thing with your coaches, I guess, or owners, and feeling who they think for their team. I mean, that's cool too. You can have that in there, but I think you should let every other coach pick all-stars from other teams. They watching it too. They seeing the film. Who you think was good when you was playing against these people all year? You know what I mean? That's how I think it should be. I think that's how the league does it, kind of, to a degree. Like, let the other teams pick all-stars from other teams.
Okay, you saying players, right? So who is your top 5 offensive linemen in the league? In the AAFL?
Definitely me. I'm always take myself. I don't know my man's name, but he won the Offensive Lineman of the Year award.
Oh, Tamatoa, the big guy?
Yeah, Faye's son.
Mm-hmm.
I like him. What's his name? Krishan?
Breaker.
I like him. Not really sure too many outside of that. I don't want to downplay or discredit nobody, but just off the top of my head, those pop out. Like Blue said, I would go Rhino if he chose to do it, but you know he defense. So, but us 3 for sure, off the top of my head, I can think of right now that I would say.
Who would you say is the top 5 defensive linemen in the league?
I would go Rhino. I would go Burks. I would go 55 again. I like JoJo. What's that for?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna go my boy Swazo.
So do you feel like, so yeah, you were saying that Tamatoa has like a good pass rush and everything like that, but I guess we could speculate it as their DBs to be a little suspect of that sort.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of their guys, their core pieces, if they could pick it up, they'll be all right. I feel like they'll be pretty good if they could pick it up, but I don't know. Like you said before, it's going to be like a wait to see type thing. So about the Ravens and their history, the Ravens they're championship. They beat the Gilbert Warriors in the championship before. They're a tough team to compete. Do you think that they'll have that same type of momentum coming back?
I would say for playing this season as a player, I would hope so. I've never really got a chance to see them. I know back in the day, I had a friend that played for him, got invited up to play for him when I was doing the Headhunters at the time. Never did, though, when I knew they was winning. But I don't know what they're going to be coming with. I hope it will be something close to that so we can have a good season all the way out around with every team. But you just never know. I mean, you don't know how old guys are, if they still playing, who they bringing back. They getting a whole new face coming in. So I just say for the benefit of the league, I would just hope it would be something similar to what they used to be.
So at this standpoint right here, the Owls are coming back as well. They were always like an okay team. They always had players, numbers. Do you think that they can affect this league?
I hope so. I think so. I remember playing the Owls just one time, but I remember just watching them, and they reminded me of how our headhunter teams used to be. They was just tough and gritty, and they wasn't going back down. And I think when we played them on the Headhunters, that was a hard-fought game that we ended up winning at the last second, like as the clock went out. I just hope they bring that, that same tough style. Going to be in games, going to put up a fight, compete. I think they'll do that.
The Roll Tide are saying they're going to win back-to-back. Do you believe that?
As a player on the other team, I would have to say no. So I don't want that to happen. But they should say it. They want it. I mean, just like when we won, we said it. I wouldn't expect nothing less from them to say, So they got some good guys over there, obviously. I felt like the coaches they brought made a good difference for them. It gave them a little more structure with how they ran things, and you saw it on the field compared to a lot of other teams this year. But like any other season, any other game, we had to line up and get it done. Just for me, I'm going to say no, because I think we'll get back to that spot. But everybody is going to say, they got a shot to be the champion or will be a champion. We all got to go out there and make that happen.
Do you guys feel like, do the Vengeance, in that standpoint, feel like they had the better skill players in that against the Roll Tide in that championship game?
I would say so. A lot of things came down to that championship game. I feel like our head wasn't where it should have been compared to where theirs were. Like we felt like we was just going to win it versus going out there and handling business. And we made some mistakes in the game. I felt like, our game plan, we probably jumped out of too soon. Things was kind of getting, confused all over. My foot started feeling not the way it needed to be about midway second quarter, which I was hoping they would hold up longer than that, but it didn't. So now I'm really out the loop and just the body up there. We just made some mistakes early and just kind of got down and just didn't stick to what we do. You know what I mean? The game plan we had for what they played on defense, I thought was good. We need to get this ball out quick, slow down, eliminate pass rush, drive it slow, move the ball to the field. Because our defense did everything that game. They definitely played good enough for us to win the game. And we did drop some touchdowns in that game. Like just before half, we dropped a touchdown. We scored that, we more than likely go in half either up 6-0 or 8-0. But you don't get that score, then you kick it to their kicker, and he returns it to the 2-yard line. I mean, it was just little small things flip games. I felt like a touchdown for us before half that we should have had. You never know how that second half would have went.
What is the most difficult team you ever played against?
The most difficult team I've ever played against? Whew. Difficult. I'm gonna give my boy. I'm gonna give D. Will some love, man. When we played the Stampede in that state game, I'd probably say the best team for sure, at least most talented, outside of some teams I might have played on myself. That team was very good. They were stacked, they was loaded, and we competed with them. I mean, I think they probably thought that was going to be probably like a wipeout game for them, but it didn't turn out to be that way. But that team was pretty good. They was with it. It was some contact going on for sure in that game. It would probably have to be them. I think on a consistent level, over the years, I've always had good battles with the Roll Tide for sure. Those games have always been good. Going back to my first time ever playing them in the DFL. But other than that, you had some good games here and there, but that was probably the most difficult one.
So, Some of these, there's a couple players on the line from different teams that are calling themselves the best. Do you feel like they're better than you?
No. Not at all.
What makes you say that?
For you to have that stigma to you, it has to be, in my opinion, I feel like a core body of work over time. And then you have to be also somebody that other people look up to, come to on the team in your position group, and then you passing out information, you giving them game or something like that as well. In all my years, I mean, I've maybe had that, like when I was with the Headhunters, me and Goop would do that. Me and him would feed that back and forth off each other and then to the rest of the guys. I mean, since I came over here to the Vengeance for the O-line, I've been that guy that's been giving everybody else stuff. I mean, and for obvious reasons. I've been playing for a while. I'm the older guy, I'm the veteran. I'm almost like an extension sometimes in practice. Just stuff I see, I show them what I see, what they should be saying, what to call out, where we can audible switch plays to when you see certain alignments or certain things being shown to you. I mean, you got it's a lot of things you got to do to be that goes into the play of that, on top of just your longevity. I mean, I feel like across the leagues over the years, there's some guys who can have that title and say if they choose to and feel like it. But I mean, as far as over here in this league, I'm gonna stick with my guns on that and definitely say, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I'm that guy.
So, what do you feel like gap assignment is for offensive linemen? Like, do you feel like that's like the most important thing, like gap assignment, and I would say splits? Like, what is the most important? Actually, let me ask you that. What is the most important assignment for the offensive line?
Most important assignment, first off, is the person dead in front of you, I feel like. And if you have nobody in front of you, who's the closest to you? And then what's also maybe a distance out that could have come to you. I tell guys all the time, you know, a lot of people, they want to get set fast, and it's cool. I mean, set up fast, get to the line fast. But if you notice, when I come to the line, I get there, I get my feet where I want them, but I like to look and see what's going on in front of me. I want to see where they line up at. And, you know, mind you, I already know what the play call is, so I know where the ball's going. So depending on how the front might look, I might want to say, like, yo, we should run something else because they were giving us this. I can only hope that the people behind me see that too, and we can make an adjustment if it might work better for the play. But definitely whatever's in front of you is business number one. So if you're playing tackle, you know you got the end, the DN out there, is you and him, you on the island, and your first thought should be, I can't let him come inside of me. You want him to run around. And if you're playing on the inside, that man in front of you, and you don't want to split you this way. So, and if it's 3 of y'all and it's 2 guys, there should be communication looking for a blitzing backer coming somewhere. If you're playing guard sometimes and you don't have nobody above you, when you dropping, you should be having your head here, but making contact, maybe helping out, but at the same time coming back looking for somebody filling your spot. It's all about communication, keeping them feet moving, keeping your head moving, and picking up a body.
What do you feel like your strongest position is on the line?
Right now, probably guard. I can play tackle and guard. I can do them both pretty well. I mean, I'm a little older, heavier now. I can still play tackle. My feet not that bad yet, but I feel like for right now at my age and just my strongest asset is probably just being strong. So I feel like guard would probably be just the best thing I can do right at this moment, probably number one.
Who do you think is going to be the MVP of the league this year?
MVP. Until something else happens, I'm going to always say Lucky every time he on the field. If Lucky's playing, I'm going to say Lucky's going to be MVP.
Defensive player of the year.
Defensive, I'm gonna go either Kyle or Jensen.
Offensive player of the year.
It'll either be Nate or Antoine.
Defensive lineman of the year.
Hopefully my boy Rondo wins it this year. He putting the work in. Hopefully he takes that. I think it'll be kind of, I mean, the work is cut out. I think it's difficult to do that from the interior, but it's not impossible.
Offensive lineman of the year.
I would expect nobody else's name to be called but mine.
Coach of the year. No biases.
Coach of the year, I would say either Tony or what's the Ravens coach name?
Rick.
Or Rick.
So, if the opportunity for you to take a head coaching job, not at the Vengeance, but any other location, no matter if the team is the Tigers or any other like lower tier team, would you take it?
Head coach, I mean, I don't think I'm ready for that yet. I think more like if somebody asked me to be like an assistant to the scheme, like the plan, I could do that. And if you give me a position, whether it be like line or D-line or something, or just whatever position you want me to coach with, I think I can do that. I don't think head coach right now would be something that I would be ready for to take on. But like, if somebody needed like an assistant game planner for the games on a weekly basis, I feel like I can do that.
Speaking of defensive line, could you play D-tackle?
Right now?
Yeah, this year. If they needed you to?
Yeah, for some plays. I wouldn't probably say the whole game. I don't think I can do, not back and forth. I don't think I got that in me right now, but yeah, I mean, I can play it.
What do you think about these refs? Do we have the same refs as last year? Do you feel like there's some improvements we need to do for the referees?
Be neutral for one, be fair. If you tell me one thing, tell them the same thing. I know, like, on a weekly basis, we will always hear the same stuff about the refs this, and, you know, they watching us, and even in games, they talking to us and telling us not to do something. But I'm like, literally, the other player, the other team is doing the same thing you're telling me or us not to do. So if you tell me to not say something, why are you not telling him not to say something when he's the one that's saying something? Did you not hear him, or you just seeing me because I'm bigger? I don't know. But it needs to be straight down the line. You're going to call it like this and not lean towards a certain way depending on whatever situation. So I think they can definitely do better in that aspect.
So let's go back to like the referees, like, you know, last year when the fight with the Roll Tide, after going over the film, I would say about 6 people that I know that were like that ref and that used to coach, they said that fight was based off, like, you know, the refs throwing flags on the Vengeance. Do you believe that that's true? Do you believe that refs can start fights?
I don't think a ref can start a fight.
Or play a part in it, I'm sorry.
If they don't nip something in the bud fast enough, then sure. When that fight started to break out, like just the initial verbal, because it really wasn't a fight. But when it broke out, I was on the sideline. And one, we were up in the game. The game was over. And it had to be in less than a minute and 20 seconds on the clock. So I'm not even visual to what's going on. I'm on the sideline. I just came off the field at this point. But if something is being built up, then absolutely. Like, you can easily throw the flags like you've been doing. Go to the coach, pull both coaches in. Tell them what's going on, give the numbers of the players, and get that shit fixed and corrected. I mean, it's not hard to do.
Do you feel like the Vengeance will be one of the top 2 seeds in the league this year?
I believe so. Absolutely.
Would you guys say that you're tougher than last year's team?
I think we I think we will be, and it's not from a play standpoint because the team last year I felt was tough. I think in the head we'll be. I think more mentally be. I think we'll be more locked into how we was my first year there.
What makes people dislike the Vengeance? Is it because of the winning culture, or do you feel like people just dislike y'all because they just don't like y'all?
I can only put it to winning. I mean, I don't know what else it would be. That's like, for years, like when people watch football, the NFL, and people hated the Patriots. Why? Because they won all the time. That's the only thing I can think of. There's no other reason why to hate us. I mean, we do the same shit y'all do on a daily basis, a weekly basis, practice basis. Hating us is only, I guess, it has to be the fact that you win every year. I mean, what we had last year, 1 loss all season. The year before, we had 3, but 2 of those came to out-of-state teams, in which the combined score was only, 7 points total. So locally, we wasn't losing for 3 years. Yeah, I mean, I could see that being an issue.
What separates you guys from what separates the Vengeance from the rest of the teams in this league?
Probably mentality. I would say mentality and probably talent. I think the mental is more important. I mean, people have talent, but you got to get a collective group of it. That's got to be core and in sync. And then I don't know how other teams are. I mean, I'm not with them on a weekly basis, but I just know the guys that we have, especially that's the talent, the skill, those guys is true friends, brothers. Like, they do things, they hang out, they with each other and their families and their kids. Their kids is with their kids, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like they really kick it on the regular. And I think stuff like that separates you from other people too. I don't think too many teams do that type of stuff. Some do, but when you got guys that rock with each other like that, and then just y'all mentality as one, that's, I think, key for us that kind of separates us from most of them out there.
How many more rings are you expected to win before you call it quits?
Hopefully it's one. Hopefully this one.
And do you feel like you guys have the team this year to do that?
I feel like we can do it this year. Absolutely. I feel like it's going to be tough. I feel like it's going to be some good games, some good teams. I can't wait to see what the other teams look like that we have not seen yet, being Lopes or Ravens or Owls, just to see what they have coming. We kind of know what to expect somewhat from the others. So I'm waiting to see how it look, but I think that we are going to be right there at the end.
And what would play a part in that? Like, you guys, coming out on top, it'd be like the coaching and the skills, you say?
Coaching and everybody locking in and being on the same page. I feel like they all should be there, and I feel like they will be there. Going to the game this year, like, okay, you come back this year and make another championship appearance, go into the game this year not thinking like how we did, like, okay, like, we gonna win this game, versus going there and taking it, having the mindset of take it. We all felt good, we felt confident, we just felt like it was gonna be ours. They wasn't about to give it to us, you know what I'm saying? So this time, this year, to get back, switch the mindset, have it to like how we had that first year, well, my first year, when everybody was trying to make a statement from week 1, from playing the Venom all the way through. We was locking every game. We was going out there, all them games we played, and we was taking those games. So we need to get back to taking the game this year and not just showing up, expecting to get a win just because of the name on the shirt.
Okay, so week 1, Roll Tide versus Vengeance. Who wins and wants to score?
I believe we win a close game. I think we win by 6 to 8 points.
The Lopes versus the Toronto Warriors.
I think the Lopes win by 10 to 13.
The Ravens versus the Owls.
That one might be a good. That one might be low scoring and close too. It's gonna be tough to see what they got, man. But I'm gonna go Owls by 4.
4. Let me see, the Tigers versus the Lions.
Man, I don't know who gonna win that one. I'm gonna give my boy Moore some love, man. I'm gonna say the Tigers win that.
Keyshawn is over there coaching too.
That's my dog. Shout out to him.
I feel like if anybody could turn that team around, it could be him.
I hope so. I hope he do it too, man. I played against him and I played with him, and he's one of those guys you need. So from a coaching standpoint, that's a good move for them. It's a good look.
So before the season starts, like they're having like these jamborees for the league. Will you guys be participating in all the activities?
Well, seeing what happened last year, I think we kind of have to. For obvious politic reasons or whatnot. But I mean, I'll probably be out there, but I'm not going to be doing anything. I'm not trying to hurt myself. That's why I didn't want to do it last year. I think playing against 4 or 5, 6 other teams, doing like some high school rotational, what we used to call that, scrimmaging, running 10 plays against and I feel like that's pointless with people we going to play in the season and possible risking getting hurt out here. When we had that scrimmage against the Crusaders, I didn't want to do that. I'm like, why are we doing this? It's just too much can go wrong. I'd rather save the playing and the play calls and the showing for the season. Now, if they get to the Jamboree and they feel like they want to do it how the NFL did their Pro Bowl stuff last year, that's perfect. Do that. I don't think we should be having helmet and pads on. That, I think, is a mistake.
So we're about almost ready to wrap it up. I would say before we go that do you have any CFL top players that you want to shout out? You feel like that deserve more credit than they already have?
Man.
It could be a coach too.
Whew. I mean, shout out my guy Will. Shout out my man Meech and Sheldon, a couple of linemen. Want to give them some love, man. Shout out to Carl. Trying to think who I know over there, man. It's been a while. What's the quarterback's name for the Outlaws? I forget his name. That's my guy too, though. Shout out to him. Shout out to my boys that's all on the Venom, man, that we rocked with from when we was all Vipers. Will and Jordan and all them.
Speaking of that, did you see their quarterback? Have you seen their new quarterback, Jake?
Yeah, Jake was with them last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like with that quarterback they would give the Vengeance problems when we played them week 1 last year?
The last season when we played them week 1?
Yeah.
They might have had some points on the board, but I think we still won. That defensive line we had last year was stupid. It was a problem all year. I think he would have still did his thing, but I don't think the outcome of the game would have changed.
Yeah, so a lot of teams that are saying that, a lot of people are saying that some of the lower tier teams from the other leagues can be top dogs in this league. Do you believe that's true?
Like what teams?
Well, they were saying before the Titans, they didn't win really not much. The Hawks.
I don't think so. I don't see why. What would make them be able to come over here and be a top team? I don't get it or see it. I'm not one of them guys to discredit nobody's leagues. Between the 3 that we got or the 4 we got in the state, I mean, leagues is leagues, man. Players is players. At the end of the day, we all know which one got the most people on their rosters, which I guess you could say is more stacked teams. Everybody don't have those privileges or those luxuries, man. I mean, take what you got, and just rock with it. To say there'll be a top team, your lower teams will be like, I just don't know why. I mean, I ain't saying they couldn't do it. Who knows? But I'm not just gonna say, yeah, they'll come over here and run shit. That don't make no sense to me. I mean, if we being fair, did the Venom win the championship? No, but they was in it. And I wasn't over there, but from what I heard, everyone said they was gonna be the Hawks. They was in the championship game. They came from where we was at. So, I don't know, man. I think dudes play too much mentally into that. Them guys over there, all that gibberish and what they feel. Man, look, just go to your practice, play your games, and try to get your team a championship. That's what you should be worried about. You shouldn't be worried about no other player on another team. You shouldn't be worried about no other league, especially if you're not in it. For what? What you getting out of it?
So, yep, on that note, I would like to wrap it up. I would like to thank you for coming. This is Jay Brown, y'all.